Good afternoon, crafters. My name is Hannah and I am the brand ambassador for Carnation Crafts, and this afternoon we are going to be hosting a little Facebook Live demonstration featuring the Around the Tree die collection. So this is a die collection, nice Christmas die collection, as the name would suggest, featuring a beautiful Splendid spruce at the centre. And it's all about creating beautiful Christmas cards around that lovely, lovely central design. So you might have caught the shows. This collection launched on Monday this week, I believe it was. And yeah, I'm here just to do some little Facebook Live demos, just so we can have some fun. So a couple of people joining us already. Sonel's here from Tampa in Florida. Carol says, did you change the time? Yes, Carol. I did. I changed the day and the time. So hopefully everyone that wants to join us can do so. I'm going to give it a little while just because I know I have swapped things about today. My apologies. Totally my fault. I have lots of appointments I've got to attend, so I've got to try and fit in everything around everything else at the minute, as you can well imagine. Sonel says it's raining. Yeah, it is chucking it down here. Hopefully it's not too distracting on the noise because it's obviously bouncing off the roof of our conservatory at the minute, so hopefully it's not too distracting. Margaret's here, Joyce is here as well, Andrea's here from far north of Scotland, from Shetland. Oh, fabulous, Andrea. Sonel's looking for her delivery to come. Tom says good morning from sunny New Jersey. It's certainly not sunny, even remotely sunny here today. It's like a monsoon out there at the minute, Tom, so I'm glad you're enjoying some nice sunny weather all the way over in New Jersey. Viv is here. She says she's looking forward to the demo. Christine is here as well. A couple of people obviously from across the pond saying it's a good time actually because it's just before people need to leave for work, which is nice. Obviously with all of our Facebook Lives, what we do is we do load them to Facebook afterwards so you can watch them back at your leisure. Sort of the idea behind doing all of these Facebook Lives is so you guys have got a little library that you can refer back to when you get your dies, and obviously you can enjoy crafting along if you've already got them. Let's just see. Oh, Utah as well. How fabulous! Lots and lots of people. Fiona says nice and sunny in Scotland. Perhaps you guys have got the sun up that way. It's certainly not sunny here today, but never mind. It's the perfect kind of day for crafting, isn't it? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to have a 2-card demonstration actually. So we're doing a double build today because I'm trying to tick off as many card shapes as possible. So we're going to be looking at the Splendid Spruce and how we make a beautiful concept card from the die set there. And then also we'll be looking at the hanging bauble. So you get 2 for the price of 1 today, which is fabulous. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera around and shall we get started? So as you can see, we have all of my die cuts ready to go. So we've got the beautiful little puppy there from the Christmas Friends. We've got our Splendid Spruce. We've got our decorations ready to decorate the tree as well, and a few little embellishments too. Now the whole idea of this collection is it allows you to create your own version of your Christmas tree. So if you did come in and get the whole vignette colorway, the whole collection, you have your code to access the full colorway as well. So you've got lots of options on colors for the decoration, so you can really make it unique and personal to your tastes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the outermost die. I really should have got the dies next to me. I don't know where I popped them. I put them down somewhere, but you've seen these demonstrations so many times now. We're going to take the outermost die, the largest die in the pack, and we're going to cut that from 350 GSM perfect smooth cardstock, a nice heavyweight cardstock for a construction base, because this tree is going to stand up. The whole idea is it's going to stand beautifully on a mantelpiece. So we've got 350 GSM. I'm just going to remove a few of the little smudges that I've got around the edge. I'm pretty sure that's makeup. Because I am pretty messy when it comes to things like that. So I'm just using my glue eraser just to buff the cardstock to remove any of the smudges and things. And onto the back, we want to introduce our kickstand. Now, excuse me one moment. Oh, I've been needing that sneeze. I have been needing that sneeze for ages. Please excuse me. That's so terrible. Does anyone else get that? That absolute desperate need for a sneeze? Oh, that's better. Right, I feel like I can concentrate now. So included within the die set is a little kickstand. This little kickstand is going to be invaluable in all of your die makes, because think about cards you've already got. Think about die sets you've already got. By using this, you can transform the card itself or whatever sort of mats and layers into a standing card as well. The kickstand is already sort of perforated along, so you've got a nice sharp edge there for your fold. And onto the back of the card, we're going to stick our kickstand. So we're going to hold the card upright just to gauge how it's going to sit, okay? And the idea is along that little score of the bottom, so this little piece is going to form the base of your card, like so. Along the bottom, you're going to stick that kickstand, okay? So you're lining the bottom of the kickstand up with the base and keeping it as straight as possible, so your card has every chance of being nice and straight when it stands. And you'll notice we have got red liner tape. The reason we are using red liner tape is it's because it's a nice sticky tape and it's a nice strong tape. So that means when we come to stick it to our card, everything is going to stand up nice and securely. Let's just do this. So like I do with my finger lift tape, I've just taken a little tab of the carrier sheet of the red liner tape over the edge. I'm going to hold the die cut in place and just position it, okay? I'm going to stick that area down there where we've exposed the red liner tape and gently peel away. You notice I'm keeping my finger in place, just keep everything from shifting around. Peel away the carrier sheet, then flatten, okay? That ensures each and every time you're going to get the perfect alignment for your kickstand. And when you open your card, it's all going to stand perfectly with no aid and no support, okay? Now, to decorate, we can obviously fold that kickstand flat and begin introducing our mats and layers, our framing devices. If you've watched a few of these videos now, you'll notice the process of creating cards essentially is the same. You're just working with different shapes, you're working with different vignettes, you're working with different styles. So your mats and layers are next. These are moving down in size on the die set itself. And for this card, I'm using the Perfect Papers from the Around the Tree collection. And we've gone in with this lovely sort of deep, rich indigo midnight blue, very, very lovely colour this, into that sort of more buff colour as well. Great combination. It really, really does stand out against the white card of the background. I'm using finger lift tape for this section. I'm just gently, as you saw me do before, little tab over the edge, placing it down and peeling away to get that perfect alignment. Okay, let's just have a little scroll back, make sure I'm not missing any questions. Carol says, I know you changed the date, thought the time was the same, still caught you anyway. Yeah, the time was the same, Carol. But you know what it's like with hospital appointments. These things chop and change quite a lot at the minute, considering the global situation. So yeah, we just, I had to accommodate you guys. So I hope you don't mind that I've just adjusted the time a little bit. Sunil says, Hannah, that's awesome you offer the whole colourway for those who purchase the complete collection. Please continue to do it. I love it and appreciate it. So now I wish we could. It is a special for Christmas, and occasionally it's something we do as special offers on other collections too. Joe says, hi Hannah, my first time on here. Hope you are well. Thank you for joining us, Joe. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Carnation Crafts. This is Carla says, hey, Auntie Hannah. Also bless you on the sneeze. You know, sometimes you just can't help it. Sometimes they just have to come out, don't they? Sneezes. Great. So if you've got any questions as we go through, do type them up. Carla's on board. She's watching from her place in the world up in Yorkshire there. So if you've got any questions, I'm sure Carla will be able to answer as we go. And of course, I'll try and keep up with the comments as well. To the base of our card shape, we are going in with the mats and layers for the base. Again, specially designed to just hug into the base and repeating those colours. Remember, whenever we're popping things down on our card, we're basically building a theme, you're building a story, you're building a design whereby if you include the same colours in your mats and layers at the top and repeat those at the bottom, you're getting a card which really, really does work together cohesively. It looks really, really pretty. Finger lift tape again, top and bottom of that, and just smoothing into place. And you'll notice I've already included the filigree in this beautiful sort of rich gold tone cut from the filigree design for the tree card itself. Now, speaking of trees, it's time to add in our Splendid Spruce. I love this vignette. I think it's gorgeous. It's just so evergreen, so rich, so pretty, even down to all the textures. You can see each little brush stroke of the pine needles there, beautiful highlights on them as well. And I just love the way this little pine sort of frondles, if you like, all kind of poke up at the end. It looks like a really lovely, full and fluffy Christmas tree. I'm going to give it a little bit of shaping. And to do that, I'm going to use my ball tools. I'm going to follow the cut line details and obviously the artwork detail as well, and just shape them out. I'm not going to go mad because we want to be able to stick all of our decorations to the tree, but just by lifting the edges of those ferns, you're going to get a really lovely realistic look. It's going to kind of shape the tree, the die cut itself. So I'm just using my ball tool on a little bit of foam, and we're just going over each area and then up through the middle where the trunk would be. Okay, now obviously I'm including this on the mats and layers, on the card base itself, but of course you could cut these a couple of times and have these as a backdrop for a lovely forest scene. It doesn't necessarily have to be winter, it doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas. It's a very versatile die cut, this one. Okay, now I'm not going to stick it down just yet, I'm just going to place it. And you can see by having that wonderful sort of buff colour behind, how it really does make that gorgeous, gorgeous evergreen stand out. And actually, by including the indigo blue from the Perfect Papers, you get this much more richer sense from the vignette itself. So all these areas which you put perhaps, you know, very, very deep green, start kind of crossing over into that blue scope as well, which is very, very pretty. Tina says, does Carnation Craft do any card shapes without the embellishment panels, please? Tina, yes, we do actually. In a sense, you can look for the primaries. They are just nested dies. So we've got Pretty Shabby, we've got Crystalline, and then we've got just the primaries as well, which are plain edge die sets. They're a nested die design whereby you could just cut the outside. Or, of course, when you've got sort of the card shapes with all the filigree as well, you don't have to include the filigree on them either, which is fab. Teeling says, this is my first time live, I've just got the new Big Shot and Around the Tree. Love them. Oh, welcome. It's lovely to have your company. Don't forget, we do have a really, really friendly Facebook group as well. It's called Carnation Crafters. If you type in Carnation Crafters, you should be able to find it on Facebook. And lots of people there. They share their inspiration. They share what they've made with their die sets. I mean, there's some incredible artists in their own right over on that Facebook group too. And it's a lovely place to be for inspiration as well. Let's just have a look. So here we're going to include the wonderful sort of golden sort of sunburst effect, a little bit like icicles. Imagine cutting these from Miri. These two are part of the Around the Tree launch. And I'm going to include these just to break up the line of the tree, okay? So I've cut it twice, again, from my mirrored vignettes. So our vignettes, what you see me working with is our artwork. They're available to download from carnationcrafts.co.uk, and as we've mentioned, if you did purchase the full collection for Around the Tree, you will be able to download the full colourway for free. There will be a leaflet within your order. But something like this is just pretty because it adds a little bit of texture in the background. I love it. It has almost quite a spiritual look to it as well. So if you're looking for that more sort of religious vibe to your cards, it might be a good die to go for. But by placing the tree over the top, do you see how you almost get this instant eye draw to the centre? It's focusing the look and the design. Also, you'll notice the same gold that's been used in these vignettes here, this coloured artwork here, is repeated through the filigree for the base of the card as well, which is fabulous. So we're going to stick those down, but obviously I don't want them sort of standing proud from the back of the card, so I'm going to use my bookbinding glue just to stick them into place. But if you are familiar with my demonstrations, you know I hardly use any glue. I like the die cuts to have a little bit of movement. It adds to the detailing of the card. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stick to the very centre of the circle there. You could always use your pokey tool to adjust and place. And we're just going to stick. So all of these fronds here, I haven't stuck. Those are all loose. Those are all free. it's just the centre bit. So you get that little bit of movement when this is sitting on a mantelpiece, pride of place. You know, you sent it to a friend, you sent it to a relative. They are in love with this card and they want to display it beautifully. It then catches sort of in the breeze and things like that, just for a little bit of extra detailing. Now, of course, what you can do is overlap these two little fronds to create a complete circle. But because my complete circle is going to be hidden by the tree, I'm going to just edge them out a little bit so you get even more dispersion on the edge of the design. Cindy says, the tree is such a gorgeous focal point. All the CC artwork is stunning. It is. I mean, hats off to Nick, our head of design. He is an absolute genius when it comes to working out how things look, you know, the concept for the designs, the artwork, the finish, the artistry, just beautiful. So we're going to place our Splendid spruce there, and I just love having that little halo, if you like, of the detailing, the texture around. Because I've shaped my tree, I'm going to use 3-dimensional glue, pin flare glue gel, just down the centre, just to lift that centre of the tree itself. Can you hear the rain? It's getting even heavier. Hopefully it's not picking up too badly on the microphone there. And we're going to stick that in place. Now, of course, if you do prefer using foam pads, you are more than welcome to do so. Pin flare glue gel is just my personal preference because you get a little bit of wiggle room, which means we can adjust as we stick down. You see me nudging that into place just so it sits perfectly within the frame of those mats and layers. And take the time. You know, there's no rush on this. The idea of card making is it's supposed to be a relaxing pastime. It's something you can do for fun and enjoyment, and just taking the time to layer everything beautifully is going to result in a really lovely card. So that's essentially our Splendid spruce in place. Now, obviously, within the collection, within the Splendid spruce itself, you've got a whole host of die cuts, which are just the prettiest things in the world, because you can then start decorating your tree in your own preferred way. And this is what makes it really, really unique. So I'm going to take things like the little lights here. And of course, being Carnation, it is up to you, okay? These are your die cuts. It is totally up to you how you place. Now, things like the lights, things like the tinsel, things like the strung baubles, the strung stars and things are all on a fine little bit of paper, meaning you can mold them, okay? So you can add that curve in to the design. So we're going to cut these down. A little bit of glue again, just in areas. Just stick these into place. And you might find using your tweezers with this sort of thing is a little bit easier. But essentially the idea is we're just going to decorate our tree, just as we would do in real life, you know, when you're actually at home decorating the tree with your loved ones. It is the same sort of concept, but this time you're doing it with your die cuts instead. So lights on. I might have a few more lights just at the top, and again I'm trimming those down just so they fit in, curving them round so they fit in with the tree too, okay? I might start using my tweezers, actually. I was just looking for them, just so my fingers are out of the way and I can get the glue into the places as needed. Again, I'm using bookbinding glue for this one, and I'm alternating sort of sweep, if you like, of how the designs sit. So I had the lights along the bottom going upwards. I'm now having these little lights just facing in the opposite direction to give you that sense that the tree has this movement to it. The tree has been decorated and strung with these lights and things. Same with my baubles here. So I'm going with sort of a red, gold and blue theme. These little beauties, let's just have them strung here maybe. And again, snipping down. And you see you can gently curve all the baubles to give you that lovely strung effect. Again, holding with my tweezers and a little bit of white glue just along to stick these in place. So let's just take that across the branches there. Oh, Carla said, I've just lost my ice cream in a standoff with the dog. He won. The sound of the rain is soothing me from my little trauma. Cornelius looks ridiculously smug right now. Do you know what? Even though it's raining, Carla, I would really love an ice cream right now. I might have to go and raid the freezer after this Facebook Live. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? My little string that I've just popped down is just hanging over the edge of that branch. So I'm just going in with my scissors and snipping away, okay? So it's just taking the time to add, to layer, to embellish, offering things up, seeing how they look, snipping things away. You don't have to use any one of these die cuts in their entirety. They are designed to be snipped and adjusted, which I just think is beautiful because it gives you so much more scope for decorating things your own way. And isn't it lovely actually when you do make cards for Christmas and you're sending them out perhaps to your neighbours, perhaps to your loved ones and things, having that choice and that ability to create cards of the same theme essentially, but then also having that ability that they're all the same theme but each one is unique and different. It's just lovely. I just think it's such a special thing. So stars I'm going to have along the bottom of the tree, again just curving up that lovely die cut, perhaps tree stars from there to there maybe. Trim that one down and curving. So it's just taking your time really and just going through and sticking each element as you go. Now what you can always do is, if you wanted to, lay everything out first, take a picture of it once you're happy with the design, as we've said before, and then come back to it. You know, you've got options. You don't have to do what I'm doing and stick everything straight away. If you lay everything down, check it out first, and then commit to that stick afterwards, it's a nice way of doing it because obviously you're just checking and double checking everything as you go. Let's also have, let's include some stars at the top because I think that would be quite cute. I'll snip that down. So I've got a couple left. They might as well go on to the tree, like so. And again, I'm just shifting that round so I can get to that little bough on the tree itself and stick the cards in place. So you see how already by using the sort of strings first, as you would do in real life, you're breaking up the look of the tree. Now I might go with some tinsel just around there and possibly around the mid section of the tree as well because I have it. I might as well go to town. Do you guys at home, do you love like a really, really heavily decorated tree? Or do you think like something a little bit more minimalistic, perhaps a little bit more Scandi looking? What colours do you like including on your tree? Simon and I are really excited because this is going to be our first Christmas in our new house and obviously first Christmas with the new baby. Last year we didn't actually have a tree. Now I know that sounds terrible, but with everything going on, it just didn't feel like the right time to get a big old tree and things like that. So we're really looking forward to getting our first proper Christmas tree in the home and decorating it this year. It's those special sort of family memories you make, isn't it? And I don't know what colour we're going to go for. Probably very traditional. We like sort of reds and golds and greens and things like that. So it might end up being a very traditional tree. So let's just glue on. Obviously, whilst watching the show, I did take all of Carla's tips about trees in the showers and trees in duvet covers and all sorts of hilarity was ensuing on those shows. And it did entertain me quite a lot, I have to say. Okay, so we've got all of our sort of strung objects on. Stars, lights, tinsel, the works. Fabulous. Let's move on to the baubles and the ribbons. So again, a whole stash of these cut out, ready to go. Spend a rainy afternoon just cutting, having these ready in a little box just to lift and then pop onto your tree because I think it's just fab. Enjoying the process of building these layers. So I've got gold bows, I've got red bows, I've got my star for the top of the tree, I've got blue baubles, gold baubles, red baubles. I'm throwing everything at this one because why not? So for the baubles, I'd like them to stand a little bit more proud from the background. So this time I'm going to go in with my pin flare glue gel and I'm just going to place them. I don't even mind if they overlap and they overlay. I'm quite happy just placing them wherever, just to get that height and dimension. So baubles going on a mix of colours, a mix of design, and a mix of finishes, just as you would do traditionally from a proper real Christmas tree as well. So as you can see, I'm using my tweezers, just carefully giving me the allowance, just hands-free to position. So it means I can pop my glue on and then move on to the next one without too much issue. So again, nice big gold bauble, how about there? So it actually looks like they're hanging on the tree itself. Tina says you need to go all out then this year, Hannah. Yeah, I think that's the plan. I think big old Christmas tree in the front room and just decorating like mad. Then we've got red bauble. Kind of want to break that up a little bit, but I've kind of gone a little bit mad with my bauble. So let's go here. Let's go here actually, just like so. And then a final little bauble over to one side too, just like so. And you see how I'm not being too precious. You don't have to sort of overanalyze anything, because really the artwork, the design, everything comes together so beautifully when it comes to Carnation. Similarly with the ribbons, we're going to use a tiny little bit of pin flare on these, and they're all going to go into the mix as well. So let's go in. Where do I want ribbons? Ribbons tend to go on the end of branches, don't they? Oops. There we go. Ribbons. I've got red ribbons as well. And these are lovely. This red is just gorgeous. It looks like velvet, doesn't it? Just so, so yummy. Little red ribbon up there. Let's go for another gold one. And it's just lovely. It's just a really mindful way of spending an afternoon just enjoying the kind of design process, just enjoying the making of the card. Now, as we say, this is absolutely your design. These, once you cut them out, you can go to town. We have completely open angel policy as well. So if you want to make to sell, you can do so. But just having the ability to create that lovely, lovely card in your own way does make it so unique. Finishing touches there for the old Christmas tree. I've knocked that slightly, so let's just bring that over a smidge. Of course, star for the top. I believe there is a little angel as well, if you'd like an angel on the top of your tree. But let's just pop the star as your finishing touch to the top. So already you're creating this really, really beautiful design for your card making. So onto this, we aren't done yet. Let's go with some presents. Let's have some presents around the base of the tree, because again, that's really, really pretty. And even though I'm overlapping and overlaying on some of the baubles and ribbons, it's fine, because it would be like that in real life. And actually, I think it makes it really fun to add in these different layers too. So a few little presents there. I'm going to start layering those with, again, pin flare glue gel. And of course, you can use foam pads, as we've said, if you do prefer. But just sticking these down is fabulous. Carla says showering with the tree is not advised, things get stuck. Oh, it did make me giggle. You and Mr. Dean launching this the other day. Very, very funny. Okay. Oops, put my thumb right in that, Hannah. I do like to get messy when I'm crafting. Let's just get a baby wipe. Take that out of the way before I smudge glue over everything. Come here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Should we keep that out just so it's to hand, just in case I have any more glue disasters? And you see, each time I'm turning these over, we have mentioned it, these are what we call our mirrored vignettes. So these are designed so you can use them in either direction, making them really great sort of multi-purpose for all different kinds of designs. But also, if you don't glue them before you stick them, or before you cut them, should I say, you can then also sort of peel them apart and use them in both directions. Great for over the edge cards, great for cards where you're going to see the backs, where you sort of things like this, where you've got this beautiful texture, you're going to see the back of it. And it's much nicer having a coloured back than what it is having something that is then white, because it draws the eye quite dramatically if you're just going with white. So there we go, a little golf club present there, or a hockey stick. It could be a hockey stick. I have got another red blow actually. Let's stick him on because we have him, so why not? And there we have a little bow, just like so. So you see how you're building this whole story around the design itself. Now, of course, you could add more presents around the tree if you wanted to, but I thought just a few at the base would be really, really special. And of course, if you wanted, that could be your card completely done. But as you know, we do have the most adorable little characters in this collection. And I thought I just had to include this one because this one, I know it's a little puppy dog, and I do know that, but he reminds me of my Morphe cat so much because he's got this little wiggly butt and I just think it's the cutest. I mean, look, just that little bum wiggling with his tail. That's what Morphe does, my cat. And he's the same colour as Morphe cat. So I'm going to include him. But again, I'm not going to pop him flat. We're going to bowl out his little bottom there. So it's all cute and sweet. And same with his little face there as well. So I'm using a nice large size ball tool for this one. Just to get that initial sort of doming effect to the die cut. And then we're going in with the different size ball tools. Let's ball out the lights as well because they're all part of it. And his little fluffy ears. Oh, just the silky ears on a puppy dog. Just the most cutest thing. And then let's go in with a smaller ball tool just to finish those lights and perhaps his little wiggly tail and eyes. Oh, and nose because, my gosh, that's just too cute. Because why not? And all of these things, by giving shape and height and dimension, gives you such more real look to your die cuts. I love them. Doesn't he look so sweet? He's gorgeous. So I'd like him sitting in front of my tree, but I'd like him to stand up, okay, on the base. So what we're going to do is we're going to take his mats and layers and we're going to create an easel. Now, if you joined us for the last Facebook demonstration, we went through how to create this sort of double easel look. I'm using it again. It's a little sort of card device, a design device I use quite a lot in my card mates because I think it's a little bit of fun. So we've cut his outermost layer, we've folded a piece of card in half, hang the outermost die over the edge and cut from 350 GSM. That then we've just chopped down because you don't need all of the base and everything on there. And again, using red liner tape, and we've scored along the bottom. This means when we want to, we can stand our little card up and our puppy is going to be nice and proud on the front of the card as well. Laura says hello from the office. Hello Laura, thank you for joining us today, lovely. Carla says I bet he wouldn't steal your ice cream cone. Also cannot wait to see Morph with your real tree. Oh, do you know what colour? I hadn't even thought of that. Oh my goodness, Morphe cat does like climbing. He is going to love a tree, isn't he? What's he doing at the minute? Planning. He looks like he's planning his Christmas adventures with the Christmas tree. But yes, you're quite right. This puppy, I don't know. Do you know what? You say that he doesn't look like he would steal your ice cream, but I think you'd be so hypnotised by how cute he is, you wouldn't even notice. And before you know it, your ice cream's gone. I think that's what this puppy's all about. So I'm going in and I'm just sticking, making sure I haven't got any red line tape hanging over the edge, sticking my double easel to the inside of my card just like so, just in my presents as well because I keep knocking them. Obviously when we're doing a Facebook Live demonstration, the glue and everything does take a little while to dry as it would do at home. And then what we're going to do onto this front part, we are going to stick these mats and layers. So we've taken the outermost die from our little puppy and cut that from 350 GSM perfect smooth cardstock again, and then included that beautiful indigo cardstock from the Perfect Blush. So we've scored not even halfway, just sort of into the design itself to create our little base. And again, red line tape because it's a nice secure tape to allow us to stick our mats and layers onto. So I'm just going to offer those up, make sure they're nice and straight, and remove one piece of red liner tape first before I commit to sticking. So I can go back in, just check I've got all that lined up before I peel away. Then we're hands-free to remove the bulk of the tape, meaning everything then stays in place perfectly, like so, okay? That's then going to create our pop-up to the front of our card, which is going to keep, sort of be in the foreground, if you like. So it's a way of adding perspective to your card designs. We need a little stopper to keep that bit open. So I've taken the star from the centre of the Splendid Spruce little filigree panel there. And I'm just going to turn it so you've got more of sort of a flat edge. A little bit of foam tape on the back just to lift it too so it catches the bottom of your design. And then I'm just going to hang that over the mats and layers centrally. So when we are hands free, that star is just keeping everything open there as well. Louise says, hi Hannah, hope you're keeping well. Sorry I missed the beginning. No trouble at all, Louise. We're actually doing a double bill today. So you've got 2 cards. This is just the first of the ones I'm making today. And of course, as you well know, we always upload the Facebook Lives to the page afterwards so you can watch them back at your leisure as well. So it's no trouble at all. Adding in a little bit of pin flare glue gel just across the lights and things. You'll find with all of Carnation die cuts, there's plenty of space to include your glue. And doesn't our little wiggly bum puppy look so cute sitting in front of the card design? I'm just going to shuffle those presents up and just check my kickstand is working. But if I just swing the camera around, hopefully I can lift this all up without squidging the glue too much. Here we go. So you've got your puppy right in the foreground and then your tree in the background to create this really lovely look and design, this story, if you like, of Christmas for around the tree. Of course, there's lots of ways to include your puppy. You could pop the puppy onto the tree itself, but I thought to stand on a mantelpiece, that's going to be quite impactful. I'll see if I could get it all into frame there with the puppy and everything to go. Now, obviously with a card like this, what we'd recommend is making a little gift box or making a little envelope, something, you know, definitely sized to match in with everything. But I just think that little puppy, look at his face. He's just gorgeous. Isn't he adorable? So sweet. So that's our around the tree Splendid Spruce. I'm just going to add a little bit more glue because that little golf club is trying to escape. And I'm going to put that out of the way before I put my elbow in it and then dislodge all the glue. And set up for the next card demonstration because I did promise 2. As I thought, why not? This would be lovely to do 2 cards. And because there are different card designs and card shapes within the around the tree, I thought it was really important to focus on a couple of them. And what I've done with this card demonstration, I'm just getting all my bits and bobs out at the minute, so do bear with me. We're going to include a little bit from the wreath maker as well. So there's options on this. So mats and layers out, Hannah. Make sure you've got everything to hand. Drop some of it on the floor, you know, just the usual, just the standard Oxbury things that we do during Facebook Lives. Let's just check we haven't got any questions coming in. Oh, Cindy says he's adorable. And Mandy says he's so cute, looks like my little Shih Tzu. Oh, so sweet little puppy's just gorgeous. Sue says, Hannah, sorry, just come in. I'm here now. You are always more than welcome to join at any time, Sue. You've just caught us in time as we begin the next demonstration. So let me just pop the camera around and you can see here we have the die set for the hanging bauble card. So this card is this beautiful sort of filigree design in its own right. More of a traditional shaped card in the sense you've got that square outline, but you've got this lovely hanging feature to the centre. A little bit different to the tree, but of course you could include the tree in this design as well. So for this one, you've seen us go quite traditional with colours in the golds and the reds, but this time around I wanted to include something that was more of a modern colour palette perhaps, and I've gone with the blues and the sort of tan colours from the Perfect Papers on to our design. So once again, hanging bauble, exactly the same as the last demonstration. You take the largest size die and you cut in its entirety the outermost die set, the largest die in the pack, and that will give you your card base. It gives you the back, it gives you the front, and it gives you the hanging element for your hanging bauble card. There are score lines already in place to allow you to fold your card as well. However, what you can do is go in with a ball tool, sharpen those little score lines up and then fold, and then use something like a bone folder, just go along and really sharpen up that fold so you get a nice clean crisp fold design on there. Okay, now because you've got this lovely open aperture design with your bauble to the center, what we've done is included filigree for both the back oh, the inside, I should say, of the card, and the front. Okay, so extra filigree panels. But if I just bring the filigree in, you'll see this could well be a filigree to the centre of a card on an 8x8 or a 7x7 or whatever you would like. It doesn't have to be used just with your hanging bauble. There are lots and lots of ways of including these within your designs. If anyone is interested, the hanging bauble at its widest point is 5.5 inches, okay? So really nice size card to be sending through the post for Christmas. So to the inside, let's go in with our mats and layers, those framing devices. All we're doing exactly the same as the last demonstration. You've seen and heard me say this so many times. We're moving down in size, and then we're having the different colours as well. So finger lift tape on these, just as you can see, I'm just adjusting that to make sure it sits centrally. And we've taken and folded a little tab from the finger lift tape over the edge. I'm going to peel that away and then smooth into place. Before I go and try and take all the tape carrier sheet off, it's so much easier to do it this way because you're then hands-free to go in and remove the carrier sheet from the other bits of tape, and it ensures you get that nice even stick, that nice even way of working. So just smoothing that down into place, okay? With the filigree, I just love this. I think it's so impactful. It almost looks, you know, when you go out to the car in the morning after a really heavy frost and you have all of those beautiful, beautiful swirls and flourishes and designs from the frost, from the ice on your car and things like that. It's that same, it reminds me of that. I know it's not necessarily exactly like that, but those wonderful sort of swirls and things, just gorgeous. This piece of card is our Perfect Blush. Our Perfect Blush range is white cardstock with a hint of colour. And because I'm working with a blue sort of cooler theme to the card itself, I've used the blue Perfect Blush. So it's got a hint of blue, which works perfectly with these colours. Again, as I often do, I've just taken a little bit of finger lift tape through the centre, and we're going to stick that into place. Again, just easing it down, making sure it's nice and central to our mats and layers before we smooth. I'm not going to bother sticking all these little bits of filigree. There are plenty of spaces should you wish to. Sort of Nick, head of design, does leave lots and lots of spaces for consideration of glue. I just prefer the look where the filigree, the texture in the background lifts slightly and you get this play of shadow in the background. I think it's very, very, very pretty. To the centre, we're going to add in, what should we add in? Which way round are we doing this, Hannah? Let's have a look. Are we going to go filigree in the centre with my gloves? Yes, I think so. So let's just swap this about a little bit. So you've got options. There are several different versions of the circles and things that you can include on your design. And it may be that you want to include the filigree. It may be that you want to include your circles. It may be that you want to leave the centre completely plain. But you've got options. No matter which way you decide to do it, you have options there. So I'm thinking possibly of something like this with the sentiment as well, okay? So plain to the outside, filigree to the centre. And again, that filigree to the centre is going to be stuck using finger lift tape. And I'm just going to adjust because you have these sort of points which are reminiscent of the outside filigree little points. So do I want them lined up or do I want them in sort of north, south, east, west? I think north, south, east, west, just to give you that little point of difference from the centre design. And then stick that into place just like so as well, okay? Again with finger lift tape, so you've got nice flat layers between the two. And we're just going to remove that second little layer for the finger lift so everything is just stuck nicely. Okay, so that's the inside of our card, beautifully detailed. Of course, if you wanted to, you could leave the centre off and include your little message, include a little peel off, include a little verse or sentiment, something like that. To the front, you'll notice we have every layer, every aspect of Carnation is thought through. So even with the front here, this little strip, you've still got that same design. So you've got this beautiful filigree look. We then have the mats and layers. Everything is decorated. Everything is there to give you the best possible finish to your card makes. Again, we're sticking with finger lift tape. Again, I'm folding over the edge of the finger lift and just adjusting it like so, so it sits perfectly, okay? Then we can go in and peel away the rest before we stick down. And of course, finger lifter, the name would suggest, is nice and easy to use because it's not sort of tape all the way up to the edge. You've got a little bit of a gap between the carrier and the tape, so you can get your fingers in there and adjust. Okay, I'm building quite a collection of little tape ends all around my desk here at the minute, but just squidging those out of the way. Cindy says, a tip you and Carla shared with the finger lift tape has helped me so much with getting the layers in place quickly and keeping everything aligned. Thank you so much, Cindy. That is fabulous to hear. It's always really, really lovely to hear when people are getting on with tips and you find it's like helps with your crafting and things like that, because that is what we are here for at the end of the day. Okay, now this little area, we're going in again, folding that finger lift tape over the edge, sticking down before we remove the rest. Same colours again, this lovely sort of beige into this wonderful sort of sky blue. Think of it like snow-laden clouds. It's that wonderful sort of heavy blue colour, which is just gorgeous. Now, you'll notice scattered around my desk, I have a few die cuts. I have my sentiment and I have the crystal version. You saw me use the sort of icicle version in the gold behind the Christmas tree. I wanted to show you another way of using these similarly, but how well they go with more of an icy look as well. So you've got the two. So this time around, I am going to layer these up. These have been cut again from my mirrored vignettes because I'm using them in and over the edge design. A little bit of glue just on those wider points and shuffling that die cut into place so everything sticks perfectly. Okay, so you're creating a whole circle, if you like. I know it's more of a star shape, but a whole round of design, just like so. This, I'm actually going to stick to the reverse, but I'm going to stick it centrally to the bauble. Okay, so this is going to create a lovely pattern, just a pattern in the background, nothing over the top, but it's just there for a little bit of lift. Okay, so it's going to break up the negative space, the white space of around the design there. So a little bit of white glue just in areas around the base of this snowflake, if you like, and then we're going to stick that centrally to our bauble, or as centrally as I can fashion it, just like so. Okay, so that's going to fill those areas there with just a little bit of texture. But because, again, we're using mirrored vignettes, you've got a lovely look to the background of it as well. Now, absolutely, you could include acetate and things like that if you wanted to. But I think just by having that little bit of detailing, it just adds to the bauble. It adds to the effect when the card's open and shut. It kind of moulds in with the filigree design itself. Sue says, I quite agree with the tape. I made a few mistakes, but thanks to you, Hannah, for your fabulous tips. You're more than welcome, Sue. Tina says, when layering with foam pads, I use a dab of glue as well on top to stick the foam pads. You always have a little wiggle room. Tina, that's fabulous. Yeah, anything like that. Such a lovely, lovely thing to share with other crafters for inspiration and tips too. Now, you'll notice in front of me, I've obviously got the sentiment from the Hanging Bauble, Tidings of Joy. I just loved it. I thought it was a really lovely flourish, old sort of Victoriana look to the font there. Very, very pretty. But I wanted to show you, you don't necessarily have to use all of the same die cuts with all of the same collection. So here we've got a few items from the Glow of Christmas, the Glow of Christmas collection that launched the previous week, and also a few little offcuts I had left over from my wreath maker demonstration that I did last week for you. And I thought, do you know what, for a little Scandi card for a pared back look, these are going to look so beautifully on the Hanging Bauble design. Let's include them. So first off, our beautiful mittens. I'm going to ball these out, use my ball tool, because remember, everything looks so much more realistic when you have added shape, dimension and texture to your designs. So just working through the mittens, lovely, lovely round, fluffy, warm mittens there, gorgeous. And of course with the pom-poms, let's have them fluffed out as well. So just taking my ball tool and just squidging it into the middle of the die cut there and letting the paper fold around the ball to give you that fluffed out look. Okay, our mittens are going to sit on our bauble just off to one side, almost kind of pointing the way down into our sentiment like so. But you see by the colour palette, everything works so beautifully together. So I'm going to stick sentiment first, I think, make sure we've got that in the right place, and then we can go in with the die cut. I lost my words then for a minute. So Tidings of Joy, cut in the same colourways, so the sort of lovely buff sort of biscuit colour, and white. Remember that white is the perfect blush blue, so it's white with a hint of colour. And then our mittens, you see how they frame the sentiment then? Looks so, so pretty. Again, I think a little bit of pin flare just in the middle, just to lift those from the back. And the pom-pom string and everything can just beautifully hang around over the edge of the bauble there. I think that looks really, really pretty. Now, I didn't want to stop there. Remember, we have mentioned we've got these offcuts. I say offcuts, they're not offcuts, they're leftovers from the demonstration we did last week featuring the wreath maker. And I wanted to show you don't necessarily have to use your little tuck-ins just on the wreath maker itself. They look absolutely stunning as little compositions, little bouquets, little designs in their own right. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun just layering these up. You'll see I've already shaped these ones, so they're ready to go. But just by sort of coming up with a little idea just to sweep around that corner, if you like, it's giving you a very, very pretty finish to your design. So once we're happy, we can start sticking in place. Again, I'm going to use pin flare, but I am just going to grab, let's see if I've got pin flare near me. I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more pin flare. Where are you, pin flare? Oh, bear with me. There we go. There it is. Couldn't see it for looking then, so I'm just going to fill up my syringe just a little bit, just so I've got an extra little bit of glue to go with. So just taking out the plunger, giving that a wiggle, and then we're going to go in with some pin flare glue gel. They always come with these little seals on them, so I'm just going to release that seal. I can use my poker tool to get under there if needed, and then just squidge a little bit of glue, not loads. If I'm only doing sort of a little demonstration like this, so I know I'm coming to the end of a card, I don't tend to put as much in my glue syringe, just because there's no need. And obviously we don't want glue sitting around in our syringes for ages, but just enough to get me through the demonstration. Remember, I have mentioned this before, but I know it's been a little while since I've mentioned this. Whenever you come to put your cap back on for your glue, make sure you squidge out, if you are using sort of pin flare or glue gels, squidge out a little bit of glue just on the end of the syringe there before you pop your cap on, okay? Now the reason is it creates like a little seal, so the air can't get into it and it won't dry all your silicone out on the inside of your syringe. When you come to take your cap off, this little bit will be dry, so you can literally get, you know, thumb and finger or tweezers or whatever and pull, okay? And that then just releases that little plug. Just a little tip to stop your glue drying out there. Hopefully you find that useful. So let's start layering. Let's start layering our little ferns and things from the wreath maker. I love this set. Do you know what? I think all of my Christmas cards this year are going to feature the hanging bauble and the wreath maker, because I just think it's such a pretty combination and just so exquisite in design as well. Wendy says, is Hannah married? Yes, Wendy, I snuck off. How long ago was it now? Carla, can you remember? Because my brain doesn't work anymore. That's terrible, isn't it? We snuck off at the start of April and got married, Wendy. Just me and Simon in a very, very small ceremony, but it was lovely. Okay, so we're going to go in with the branches. Again, these more muted tones of the artwork for the wreath maker just lends itself so well to these sort of pared back, minimalistic, really pretty card designs. Remember, you don't have to use the vignettes with any of these. Actually, you can absolutely go in and use, you know, Miri card, perhaps pearlescent card. I mean, that would look fantastic for things like wedding cards, for example, giving you little frost and glitter cards, things like that, whereby you can really just make them your own, which is just fabulous. Pine cones layering over the edge as well, so pretty. Again, just layering the pin flare glue gel on there, just checking everything is kind of sitting beauty. I can trim down these little tuck-in stalks as well. Mistletoe, because I think with the green and the white, it really carries on to the theme of this design. Wendy says, congratulations. Thank you, Wendy. That's very nice. Carla said it was about 2 months ago. Do you know what? Life is so busy at the moment. It's just crazy how fast time is going, isn't it? Mistletoe over there, and you see I'm layering. So I'm adding in these die cuts, layering them over each other, giving you this wonderful sense of foliage, of nature, of design. Everything here just works so beautifully together. And you'll notice again, I'm just popping pin flare in little places. I'm not going to town. I'm not trying to stick lots and lots and lots down all in one go. We're just enjoying the process of the layering there. So you're making almost like a little frond, if you like, a little bow of design. I've cut also from the wreath maker one of the little winter roses just to place in the centre, but I wanted to highlight that with a few of the little golden berries as well. So just checking the way they're sitting before I snip that down. Let's go in with our rose first. Again, pin flare to the back. Again, this time around, because I want the petals to come forward, we've gone over the top of the vignette with our ball tool, but by adding in that die cut there, it just covers up those little ends and things that we've been snipping away and overlaying each other, which I think is very, very pretty. And Hannah, I need my tweezers. Where are they? Here they are. Tweezers in, just because this is a little pin flare on the berries there, and we're just going to move my card so I can tuck. Might need to come at it from a different angle. Just tuck those golden berries in, and that pop of gold instantly draws the card together. Okay, so one of the things we say when it comes to designing cards is look to your vignettes, look to the artwork that you're working with. So now you've got that repeat pattern, you've got that lovely gold in the pom-poms, you've got it nestled in the center of your little rose there, and then you've got a little pop of gold just to the top there as well. Just divine. I think that's so, so pretty. Hopefully you agree. Hopefully you like this card too. Let me just pop the camera around. Here we are. There we have our finished card using that hanging bauble. So that little sprig from the wreath maker is from last week's launch, as are the mittens, but the hanging bauble launched, a hanging bauble card shape, and the snowflake in the background all launched as a part of this week's Christmas collection. And I think you agree, they do make for really, really pretty Scandi inspired cards, depending on the colour palette you use. So that's our 2 cards made for this demonstration today. Hopefully you find that useful. Hopefully I'll be seeing some of your designs over in our Facebook group, Carnation Crafters. I do have a little announcement to make. This is actually my last Facebook Live, because as from this evening, I will be off on my maternity leave. I'm sure the team will keep you updated with sneak peeks. Carla will be doing those and things like that when it comes to show launches and things like that. But I just really wanted to take this opportunity to thank you guys for all your support and reassure you it's not forever. I will be coming back. I will be coming back at some point. But yeah, so from this evening I am on maternity leave and I'm looking forward to it. I'm a bit nervous, I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit nervous. But if you do wonder where I've disappeared to, it is to have a baby. I will still be obviously involved with Carnation Crafters and looking at all you guys' cards in group, because that just makes me so happy. I love seeing what you guys do. I'm getting a little bit emotional. Oh dear, silly Hannah. Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you for joining me for this Facebook Live. I don't want to cry. Oh, silly, come along. So yes, thank you. I will be off on maternity leave. Everyone's saying lots and lots of lovely messages, so I will read through those afterwards. If you do want to keep up with what I'm doing and how we're getting on and all that sort of thing. Carla says, I love you, Auntie Hannah. We'll try not to ruin anything. You won't ruin anything, my darling. I have every trust in you. I know you are just fabulous when it comes to your demonstrations, and all you guys love Carla as well, so that's all lovely. I will be over on my business page, Hannah Roxbury. So if you want to keep up with what I'm up to, any news of the baby or that sort of thing, I will be posting from there, so you're more than welcome to join me on my Facebook page. Sarah's one of the team at work. Enjoying your maternity leave. We'll look forward to seeing you back. Love from the team. Thank you. Lovely, Sarah. That's wonderful. So yeah, do join me over on my brand page as well. It's Hannah Roxbury if you want an update on how I'm getting on maternity leave. I'm sure I will just be making cards for the next however many weeks until baby comes. So do join me there. Thank you guys again for all your support. It does mean the world, because you guys are the most inspirational group of crafters I've ever had the pleasure to meet. I know Carla will agree with me 100% there. It's just been fantastic, and I, as I say, promise you I will be back before you know it. Until then, please, please, please take care of one another. Keep sharing your mates within the group. Stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.